2% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get punked, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters gon' move, whatever click you choose.
Say, what's cracking YouTube? It's your boy 16 to Life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down. For those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. Yeah, that was me gassing on that intro, man. If you want to get that song, it is available only on a 10-song EP that you can get directly from me by digital download link. I also have 2 other mixtapes. They hard. One got 16 songs. One has 13 songs. They're $20 a piece or $45 for all 3. If you're interested, tap in. Hit me up on my email, 16tolifemusic@gmail.com. I'll email them to you. Get them to you ASAP, man. Now let's hop right up into today's video, man. So this is going to be a sincere video right here, right? And I'm naming this video A Message to My Supporters and A Message to My Haters. Initially, when I came up with this idea for the video, it was just going to be a message to my haters, right? And then I thought, okay, well, you know what? No, let me also put my supporters in there. So initially, I was going to address the haters first. But then the more thought I gave into it, I said, no, of course, Chill, you definitely have to address the supporters, right? And so that's what I'm doing here, man. I got me a little piece of paper because I got things that I specifically wanted to talk to you guys about, right? And say and show my appreciation, right? So first and foremost, man, for those who may not know, right, when I first started off doing YouTube, I created a YouTube channel in order to have an avenue to get my music out there, right? My goal was to get, I believe, somewhere around 500 subscribers. I had something like 115 subscribers, right? And so my goal was just to get 500 subscribers and also get my music out there, right? Initially, I was doing music. The engineer and producer who I was going to happened to catch COVID, right? Around 2021, somewhere around there. He happened to catch COVID, right? And so then I thought to myself, okay, well, damn, what can I do? Probably a little before that. But anyway, I thought, damn, you know, what can I do to keep my channel, you know, percolating and continue having my subscribers increase? So, you know, I thought, well, damn, you know what? Tell some prison stories, because around that time I was fresh out. When I say fresh out, I want to say probably about, I don't know, a year or 2 or whatever, somewhere around there. And I'm thinking, okay, you know, every time I tell somebody I've been locked up for 24 years, excuse me, they become extremely intrigued and they ask a whole lot of questions. A lot of times, man, I would go to this producer and he'd be asking me all these questions about prison, but I'm thinking, hold on, man, hold on. I'm paying for studio time here. You know what I'm saying? So don't ask me these questions on my dime. Ask me these questions on your dime. You know, he'd stop recording and want to sit down and have long conversations. And at the end of the session, he's still getting paid. So, you know, I said, hey, man, let's talk on your time. But anyway, you know, so he would ask me questions. A lot of people would ask me questions. So that's how I initially started telling the prison stories, right? My prison stories happened one day, I guess you can say by the grace of God, to catch on. And, you know, it took off from there, man. And I was just looking at something last night. My very first check that I got was July the 29th, 2021, right? I might even put that up. That check was almost $4,000, right? And I got paid on the 29th. We normally get paid on the 21st. I didn't know how to fill out all the information and papers correctly. It's different from how they do it now. But anyway, so I thought that, okay, they're not going to pay me till next month, but I end up getting a check on the 29th. So anyway, like I said, man, my first goals was only to get 500 subscribers, right? So my goals have well been met, right? You know, and I look at everything from a positive perspective, right? So if YouTube was to crash tomorrow and they stop paying, all this has been a blessing to me, right? Because for one, I I'm a little past 500 subscribers, and for two, I've got my music out there like I want it, man. So, that was my main objective in creating my YouTube channel. And as you guys notice, I have went away a lot from the music, and I'm gonna start getting back into that, right? But I remember when I first started doing the stories and I mentioned that I could rap, of course, people is like, no, OG, we like the stories. We don't want to hear the rap and so on and so forth, man. Stick to the stories. But once I started putting that music out there, you had some people who started rocking with my music, right? And so, like I said, man, that was my main goal. And so just off my last CD alone, right, I sold pretty much 300 CDs at $20 a pop. So do the math on that, right? And then the producer dude who I go to, he knew how to, put my music where I could sell it on a digital download link. And I haven't counted how many I've sold, but I can guarantee you guys, man, that I have sold well over $10,000 worth of music just on that last CD that I dropped, just on that last CD, man. And so on a good week now, and I dropped that CD, I don't know, 6-7 months ago. I don't know. On a good week now, I'll still make $300-$400 a week. On a bad week, I might make $100 and some dollars just off of my music alone, man. So I want to give my appreciation and my thanks to everybody out there that's rocking with my music, man. I appreciate it. I'm sincerely blessed, right? I feel blessed, right? And then, you have some individuals who stake their, I guess we want to say, they put a whole lot of stake into views and likes and so on and so forth. And if they happen to do that for them, that's cool. For me, I honestly don't, right? I look at everything positive. And one thing I'm glad about, I am glad that I was not raised in this social media area where a person equates his worth by likes and views, man. If I put up a video and get 10 million likes, or I put up a video and get 10 likes, my life is essentially pretty much still gonna be the same, right? So I don't put a whole lot of stock into likes and views. Like I said, man, I appreciate it at the same time, but I try to look at things from a positive perspective, right? Let me share a little something with you guys. Let's go so it'll be easy, right? For the math, let's go 10 years back from today. What is today? April the 9th. Today is April the 9th because it's my grandson's birthday. April the 9th, 2020. I think it's 26. It's crazy. Yeah, 2026. 10 years ago, right? I was locked up in prison, man, not knowing if I was ever going to get out of prison, right? Not knowing if I was ever going to get out of prison, right? I remember there would be times during my time, and, not braggingly, of course, but man, I had 3 attempted murders. And then I go on the run. I'm out there on the run, and then I get charged with another murder, charged with eliminating a witness from the first trial, right? So, from the first case, right? So when I got locked up, they wasn't letting lifers out. I'm thinking, man, I ain't never getting out of prison. You know what I'm saying? It was time for me to go to parole board 2 times. Now imagine being locked up, 21, 20 years, somewhere up in there, and you come up for parole and you so spooked and nervous and have no idea what to say, you postpone it. I postponed my chance at freedom 2 times because that's how shook up I was. And that's the only thing that even shook me up in prison, to be honest with you guys. When I would pull out my court transcripts and read all that stuff and think about going to the board, and I would say, man, these people ain't never gonna let me go. And that stuff would get me so shook up, I just put it back in the box and put it up there and go on about my day because, I had accepted the consequences that came with the gang life, right? I wasn't one of them dudes walking around miserable. And you guys might be amused to find out how many dudes that's locked up, gang members who was running around out there shooting, killing, robbing, jacking, stealing, so on and so forth. But when they get locked up, they feel like there is some type of injustice that has been served on him, or they angry or mad at God. I wasn't one of those individuals because I realized that even before I went to prison, even though I didn't want to go to prison, And I think a lot of time as gang members, we don't think we're gonna go to prison. But I realized that going to prison was a potential consequence of my acts. So when I was locked up, I knew I was guilty. I ain't never went in there and tried to pretend I wasn't guilty unless I'm talking to some law enforcement official. But other than that, I knew it came with the territory, so I could accept that, right? But it's a trip how so many gang members in there, they can't accept or handle their time, and they emotionally miserable. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't one of those individuals, right? But when it was time for me to go to the board, I was so shook up that I postponed it, even though I had a small chance at freedom. But then later on, once they did opening up the floodgates and started letting lifers out, I started becoming more confident once I realized what was required of me, right? But there would be times where they would take me to the outside hospital. Sometimes when you have an issue, a medical issue in prison or whatever, and the doctors at that particular prison can't handle, or don't have the means to take care of whatever's ailing you, they'll send you to the closest outside prison. Of course, you go shackled, you got an orange jumpsuit shackled around the waist and hands and feet, and you shuffling along, right? And some of the stares that I would get in some of those hospitals as I was being escorted by these correctional officers, they would give me some crazy stares like, look at that dude. That dude is a scum of the earth. I wonder what that dude did, so on and so forth, right? And so I say all that to say, so now for me to be able to come out here and be able to make YouTube videos and some people look forward to what I have to say, that's a blessing, right? So even if it's only 100 people, even if it's 300 people, that's a blessing, considering there was a time I was laying on a prison bunk, never believed I was ever going to get out, and to keep it 100, had some of my family members who believed I never was coming home. So now for me to be able to get out, and I have some people interested in what I'm going to say, or they, they say, hey, chill, man, such and this situation just happened, give us your opinion on that. That's a blessing, man. That is a blessing. So for me, I am grateful, and I sincerely appreciate individuals who look forward to what I have to say, right? Now, you have some dudes out there who say, hey, chill, we're tired of hearing you talk about dubs. Don't talk about dubs, honestly, that's a blessing, man. When I sit down and think about it, basically what they're saying is, hey, chill, man, we value your content. We value your intelligence. We value your opinion. And give us something besides that. We want to hear you talk about other stuff, right? And so, some certain people may look at it in a negative way, but to me, that's a blessing, man, that dudes want to hear me speak, man. So, even though I think at times they fail to realize that that's a job, and all this YouTube stuff is a job, and but still in all, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing, right? And to me, I think one of the most coolest things about YouTube is you can take an idea and turn it into money. You can be sitting back, jogging, exercising, driving your car, whatever, laying in bed, and an idea pops into your mind for a video. And you get up here and you do the video, and you look up the next day and you've already made $150. Even if I put this video up and I only make $35, $40, $50 on this video, I have got paid for my thoughts. So you damn near can say I'm a public speaker, right? And then on top of that, right, I have a lot of individuals who often reach out to me on Instagram or through an email, and they say, hey, chill, you know what? I'm going through this certain issue, or I have a family member going through this issue related to the prison system, man. I value your advice. What do you think I should do in this situation? That is that's, to me, that is one of the most, I guess, complimenting and rewarding things from doing YouTube. All the behind scenes stuff that go on, right? Man, it's a trip, right? In Oh, one sec, man. Getting the call. Mom's actually. Um, I kind of lost. And so in doing this YouTube, okay, so when in the course of doing YouTube, sometimes, man, out there in the streets or whatever, I'll run across police officers, ex correctional officers or whatever, people who say, hey, chill, man, I rock with you, I watch your channel, man, and so on and so forth, right? And some of them, they holler at me. Some of them, of course, I always hit them up about, if they want to do an interview. Some of them don't want to necessarily do an interview, but let me tell you guys this, right? A lot of these myths that you guys are fed about prisoners, all prisoners, right? A lot of it is just myths, man. I'm telling you, a lot of it is just myths, and most of it is untrue, man. A lot of things that say that people put out there that don't happen, it happens, man. Some of these guards and stuff are real forthcoming in our conversations, and when they walk at nighttime and do count, they have ran across things from all races that those individuals who were discovered would not come to the yard and talk about. And that is 100% facts. So a lot of this stuff is just, and it's hype, it's bravado. And a lot of it is just posturing for the camera, right? A lot of it is posturing for the camera, man. So anyway, my last, I think the last thing I want to get to, man, is basically the haters, right? Because from time to time you'll have haters, right? And who dislike individuals. Or you know what? It's one more thing I want to say before I address the haters. Prison channels, right? I trip on why people tune in to prison channels, especially California prison channels, when you know about all the political things going on in there, the racial separation, the racial animosity against each other, and so on and so forth. And the second you hear something you don't like about your particular gang, your particular hood, your particular race, you get in your feelings. Why tune in to a prison show and shit like that is going to upset you, right? I mean, to me that's crazy, right? To me that's insane. I tap in to other prison channels because despite the fact that I've done so much time, I'm still interested and intrigued by some of the stories that I hear. Like the majority of stuff, the stuff that I really like is stories from the 80s, 70s, when prison was really prison, right? By the time I got to prison in 96, prison definitely had been watered down, and it's even more watered down now, right? And sometimes I hear stories and I think like, damn, maybe an individual from my race would get the short end of the stick. And I think like, damn, that was messed up, And of course, by being the same race, you hear it and you're like, oh, okay, that's messed up. But it doesn't upset me to the point that I want to do something to somebody, because that's prison, man, Man, I got a good homie who I really respect, right? Who has been to prison, a dude from another hood, right? And I really respect him in his opinion. He's well respected. He's well respected on the streets and in prison. He done a lot of prison time. He's free now. And I was talking to him one time about one of our we got a good friend who's locked up doing a lot of time. And at the end of the day, he said, homie, we all chose this life, homie. And man, when we make our beds, we got to lie in it. You know what I'm saying? So, I thought he was going to have a more like, I guess, caring type response and this and that. But at the end of the day, he said, homie, we gangsters. We chose this life. So we has to accept what comes with this life. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing with people who watch these prison channels. You have to accept what comes with it or don't tune in, But anyway, on to my last thing, the haters. Man, listen, I just want the haters out there to know that, man. Do you guys know that when you watch my videos, when you leave comments, you are helping me get paid. You're helping me get money. Even if you leave a comment, right? The more comments that people leave, the more interaction YouTube sees that this video was getting, and they push the video in the algorithm. Same thing with the people who support the video. But for the people who even leave a negative comment, a comment is a comment, man. So if you don't want Chill to get bread, if you don't want Chill's video to get pushed, stop watching my shit. hit them 3 buttons and get on like you been shit on, man. I don't bank my whole life on this YouTube stuff. You know what I'm saying? I do YouTube full time, but everything that, my whole financial basket is not wrapped up into YouTube. That's why you guys see me upload inconsistently, man. I'm enjoying my life. Don't get me wrong. The YouTube bread is fine, man. I love it. I love being able to, that freedom that YouTube gives me to go do other things. Sometimes I like to get up and work out 2 or 3 times a day. I go play basketball in the morning. I jog in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I go back later on, lift some weights or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And YouTube gives me a lot of freedom that a regular job would not give me. I took a break for maybe about 5 or 6, 7 months ago, doing a job that paid $30 an hour. Right now, the job was good and stuff. The work was a little bit strenuous. It wasn't nothing I couldn't handle. But after working on that job a couple months, I realized, man, my YouTube channel is really, really failing because I'm not uploading. When I get home, I'm tired. And then I don't have the freedom to go do the things that I want to do, right? So I stopped, came back to the YouTube. I said, man, I can make just as much money and have more freedom doing YouTube. The good thing about YouTube is say you make $4,000 this month. The very next, say we get paid on the 21st. We have an analytical channel where you can check and see how much money we've made and stuff. You on the 22nd, you look on that analytical channel, your pay is going to be at $4,000, right where you left off the last month. Now, of course, if you don't put videos up, that thing will drop, it'll drop. If you put videos up, it'll increase, right? So the good thing, I know that, hey, man, when my pay get low, sit down and just make some videos, man. So once again, to the haters out there, man, you are helping me, man, when you watch my videos. You are helping me when you leave comments. If you don't want to help me, stop watching my videos. Get on like you've been shit on. You know what I'm saying? I think it's some 3 buttons up there in the corner. You can press those 3 buttons and it'll tell you something about, you don't never want to see this content creators channel again. Stop watching my shit, man. I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? I do not need you. I don't care about you. My goals on YouTube have been met. I never even anticipated getting paid. I remember a friend of mine, when I was around 400 or 500 subscribers, he said, hey, chill, man, if you keep going and you get to 1,000 subscribers, you can get monetized. I said, oh, man, I'll never get to 1,000 subscribers. And I was around 400. I'm thinking 1,000 people ain't going to be interested enough in me to subscribe to my channel. And now look, lo and behold, I'm a little past 1,000 subscribers. So, all this, man, is a blessing. This stuff doesn't make me arrogant. This stuff doesn't make me big-headed because I'm the same individual. Now I just have a little bit more visibility than I had before then. And to keep it 100, if I could have done YouTube or even known my page was going to get this big and tried to figure out a way where I could have, kept my credibility but not shown my face, I would have done that. I don't like being recognized by people who I don't know, because you never know. Sometimes people may have ill feelings towards you or whatever, right? I would prefer to live a quiet, indescript life. So, all this stuff is cool. I appreciate it, so on and so forth, man. But it is not make me, if YouTube was to crash tomorrow, believe me, I'm going to be all right, man. And like I said, I got my music out there now. For everybody that's purchased my music, hey, I sincerely and deeply appreciate it, man. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm gonna drop some more music soon. Y'all already know what it is. We back to the program after this. We back to the content. Resume normal program.
Yeah, it's your boy 16 to life. Just to get busy. Real niggas never tell, for I snitch on my homies, man, I'd rather do a L. The judge gave me life and told him take him to the cell. This is real life, not a fairy tale. Tell them haters I'm back. Real niggas never tell, for I snitch on my homies, man, I'd rather do a L. The judge gave me life and told him take him to the cell. This is real life, not a fairy tale. I got arrested with no bail. I was facing an LWOP. That's life without parole, forever up in that cell block. Still I never panicked or told or became shell-shocked. Even when my bitch ran off and all of my mail stopped. Cowards spill they soul, I ain't tell 12 a drop. From the gate, I kept shit straight like 12 o'clock. Some niggas snitched and took deals, I took 12 to the box. And got more time than you find on 12 blocks. They stashed me, put me on lock, threw cuffs on my wrist again. DA smiled at me, said great and started whistling. I did 24 years straight, did you listen? listening. Never punked the game, turned soft, forgot our discipline. Never once indulged in gay shit, fucking or kissing men. Anytime the ride kick, I roll like some Michelins. Hit the hole, hook my line up like a fisherman. Slid the 114D so they can fish it in. See that I'm official then, put me on the roll call. And Jama Asaboy took my niggas in the hole, y'all. I ain't never told y'all when I ain't never testify. Thugged it on the main line, I never went to S&Y. Nigga ain't no question, I gangstered up and kept it real. D hoping that I'd pussy out, snitch, accept the deal. Tell that bitch I'll never will, I pray to God to save me. They threatened me with life and that's exactly what they gave, motherfucker. Real niggas never tell, for I snitch on my homies, man, I'd rather do a L. The judge gave me life and told him take him to the cell. This is real life, not a fairy tale. Tell them haters I'm back. Real niggas never tell, for I snitch on my homies, man, I'd rather do a L. The judge gave me life and told him take him to the cell. This is real life, not a fairy tale. I ain't old dog, but y'all, I was a menace on the streets. And I would wet a nigga up just like a swim in Venice Beach. The tech I had me screaming like he screeched. They wanna do me like Malcolm X, murk me in the middle of my speech. First nigga reach, get laid down, hella simple. 4-5, put 2 bullets in his cheeks like some dimples. For talking like a gangster when I know this nigga gentle. Now he ain't saying nothing like a fucking instrumental. I wreck him like a rental, from the neighborhood smoker. Lame down like a bad hand when I'm playing poker. One word from his bitch, I'm a choker. When it come to rapping, I'm the shit and y'all niggas mediocre. My gun's fatter than Al Roker before the lipo. Niggas see my heat and moonwalk like they might go. You need insurance in the streets and I ain't talking Geico. Hot slugs, I have them like a hood rat on her psycho. Bleeding all night, yo. I ain't from the East Coast, but I'm from the East Side, and so I keep the heat close. I never snitch or do shit to break my street oath. Niggas wanted beef, got heated up just like some meatloaf. 2 guns, keep both, tucked under the white tee. I shoot a lot, I ain't talking films, I ain't Spike Lee. 9 double ends, me getting murked is unlikely. I'm all over pussies when I see them, like the Dykes be. And I don't mean them pussies that you'll find up on your wifey. I'm talking about these pussies in the street who don't like me. Y'all niggas watered down, sweeter than some iced tea. My hood's the murder ground, it ain't the place to sightsee. I was dumping nightly, gauge with the hand grip. Any nigga think I'm lying, you can read my transcripts. Plus a hustle for the chips, so came the mini fiends. Khakis, white tees, I never had skinny jeans. Mohawks and tongue rings, it's not in my DNA. To me, wearing tight jeans is one step from being gay. Purple Kush E&J, money green photo. That mini 14 to make you lean like a cholo. I don't need a team, homie, I slaughter niggas solo. Leave your body wet like you was playing water polo. And you don't want that, bro, so think about your future. I'm with the fuck shit like I study Kama Sutra. Turn over, bitch. Real niggas don't tell, for I snitch on my homies, man, I'd rather do a L. The judge gave me life and told him take him to the cell. This is real shit, not a fairy tale. Tell them haters I'm back. Real niggas never tell, for I snitch on my homies, man, I'd rather do a L. The judge gave me life and told him take him to the cell. This is real life, not a fairy tale. Tell them haters I'm back.